Good morning. Welcome to the Real Estate Humor Meme Stream. I'm Bill Gross. We do this every Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time live, and then we stream it to various social media. Love to have you participate. If you're watching this on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, feel free to put your comments in. If you're doing this live, I'll get back to you. Post your favorite memes. Love to share that with you. This is based on the Facebook group Real Estate Humor, which has over 134,000 members related to real estate humor. Some's funny, some's not. I do this every week just to give myself something to laugh at and have some fun with it and to play around with live streaming techniques. FYI, you'll notice that in my background, this side has a yellow color light and this one has a bluer light. And we call that a high production value. I just thought I'd point that out for those who are wondering why it looks so fashion forward, I guess would be the phrase. That all said, let's get into the real estate humor. And again, the goal here is to have some funny, is to have a laugh. It's not meant to take it too seriously. Though along the way, I will hopefully have some fun with this. Okay, let's see. Where are we at? And we're good. And here we go. Home buyers, are the increased rates can affect my ability to buy? Yeah, when rates go up, it's harder to afford. Now, the truth is also less buyers, less competition, maybe less overbidding. So it's not exactly direct. As I always tell people, it's like poker. You can win hands with the worst hand, and you can lose with the best hand. It's how you play the hand, not necessarily how the hand is. But definitely, it's funny to think about when you're asked, well, what would the effective interest rates be on my business? And the answer, or my ability to buy, the answer is, it can be challenging. Okay, so here is somebody posted this to show the difference between Texas and California. Here's a Texas kitchen with a Lone Star, if you look closely, cut out of the sink. And then there's California, bright and airy, and lights and whatever, sponges and stuff. So yeah, people have fun with those pictures. This is when we did this kind of similar one last week. Look at the tenant during a showing. Yeah, you show a house that's tenant occupied, and it is always a mess. When it's an owner, they want to clean up and make it look nice. When it's a tenant, it's it can be bad. At least get dressed fully. I don't know. I think that's a minimum standard that you can ask for. This one we've seen quite a few times in different formats. Who said real estate professional is stressful? I'm 48. I feel great. Yeah, I feel great. I think real estate is how you play it, but a lot of people do get kind of worn down by the stress. And then there you go. Okay, so here's one. This is funny. The top is falling in love with the house. You're like a puppy. You're excited, and then getting just like having the harsh reality of the leash put in your face. Yeah, that's definitely the difference part of the reality sinking in. When your clients are talking about the property in front of the Ring camera, this is a new thing. It's only happened in the last few years, but you always want to know what the other side's thinking. And if you have, there's no law listening in on devices, and so you have to be careful today when you're talking the property and what you say. And even when you go outside, they're watching your body language, and rightfully so. It's a business, and in businesses, you would watch your customers' reactions to things. So definitely you want to be careful when you go in the house. But it is funny how we overreact. I don't know about you, but when I close kitchen doors, the normal ones, like in my house, they kind of bang shut. But when they go real soft at the end, the soft close, it feels nice. Especially when you're showing property to somebody. They close back nice and professionally. Like, ooh, this was done with some thought. This was done with some concern with how it feels. I don't know how important it is to have that, but it certainly feels pretty cool when you have it. Not that one. Not that one. This is when realtors love. Sellers would appreciate that. When the other agent asked me to throw in some commission just because they did, go F yourself. I will say on a get real basis that as a listing agent, I have a contract to sell the house in my commission. Buyers don't. And if your buyer can't afford to buy the house, then you may not get paid. And I think that I certainly don't mind an agent asking me that question. I think it's fair to ask. But as a listing agent, I would just say no. Your buyer buying the property is not really going to affect my commission. Now, if I make a mistake, sometimes my seller's being unreasonable. Sometimes for me, just to get a deal closed is worth it. I might. But just because the other agent did isn't a reason that I would, because sometimes their situation is different. And by definition, if I'm the listing agent, they're different. But as realtors, it feels good to say, no, F yourself. I would probably never say that, but I might think that like anybody else does. Okay, let's see here. These are all. Yeah, when you find out who owns a property by looking at public records, you feel like you're with the FBI. All homes, the ownership, at least in California, is public record information. You can look it up. Sometimes you find out, it's a celebrity. I remember the first time I found out a client of mine was selling a house to Snoop Dogg because we saw the name on the escrow, and I Google searched the name and found out, who he was. I didn't know who he was by his name, but it's kind of exciting. I mean, I don't know that it made a difference in selling the property, but it was definitely kind of fun. You feel like you're all that. Controversial picture. How you feel when somebody sends you a referral? Yeah, you want to hug them. Definitely you love the customers to send you a referral. That's definitely the funnest part of the business. It's not just that it's business and it's easier business, but it's customers' affirmation that they appreciate you. So this is real. So your offer's been accepted. So I guess you can say things are getting pretty serious. I narrowed it down into a window, and I want to say that escrows that get open, 95% close. Now, there's certain buyers who it means nothing to open escrow, and to them, they just fake the process. You have to weed them out. But in general, when a consumer is buying property and wires money in, they're serious for the most part. Most retail buyers, that's a very serious part. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this is classic. When you're catching up with a friend who failed the real estate test, but they have luxury in their bio. I find that the most interesting thing. How many agents want to put luxury? They've never sold a house in the luxury price range. They don't have a sense of the value they're going to create. And that when an agent tells me they're brand new and they want to start a luxury business, unless they're coming from like a luxury goods retailer and have a client list, I think the biggest mistake. It just means they watched a lot of HGTV and took their career advice there. But there we go. Okay, so let's see. When you send a referral to another agent, you see the deal closed. Pay me what you owe me. Don't act like you forgot. Yeah, that's a classic. I will say that when I send referrals, I also set up a search on the property, so when it changes status, I know, and I contact the agent when it goes in escrow and remind them, because if you forget, if you let the agent forget the referral came from you, they're going to forget and spend the money. And many people just don't have the integrity to follow through what they owe. But you do feel like that look on Rihanna's face when it's like, hey, you owe me money. I gave you that referral. Definitely, you can kind of get ghetto. This is how you feel when you write an offer and you know it won't get accepted. Sometimes you have buyers say, come on, just write the offer up. And you know it's not going to get accepted. And you do the best you can with it. But the gap between where the property is listed and where you are is just so great that it doesn't make sense. So yeah, it can be humiliating. And sometimes I'll just tell a buyer I don't want to do it, and maybe they need to work with another. They need to work with another agent. I'm sorry to call you when I was buying a house. The agent I used was experienced, but he really messed up my deal, and now I can't. Yeah, this happens. And I think that's the nature of consumers today. Everybody feels so empowered that they don't value, I think, real track records, and second, the relationship. And I see this happen. I'm not in that world as much because I've learned, not to expect anything from people I know. It's a set for disappointment. And there's a lot of reasons to go into that. It's funny, I guess, looking at it only because it really hurts when it happens to you. You have people who you take time and you work with them, and they buy from somebody else because that person told them they're better, and it turns out they're not, and many times. But the customer, is just anxious to get the deal. I would say it's our fault for not creating enough value in the minds of our customers, not the customer, and not choosing us. And so try not to get too involved in dealing with retailers. Here, this is a funny one. I love this. He's a top producer in a magazine he paid for. See, nobody cares. This is a classic where there are all kinds of different organizations that you can pay money to be ranked as a top producer, amongst other people who paid to be in there. And at the end of the day, nobody cares you're a top producer. They care that you can help them. You need to show them that you can help them in particular, not the help to 500 other families. In fact, in some regards, the truth is that top producer, if you ask me, as a general rule, a top producer is probably not going to help my client because so many of them just pawn off customers to their team. They have a great team of brand new agents that are slightly above average, and they're good at organizing that into business, but it doesn't mean the customer is going to get exceptional service. It might mean they're going to get consistently better than average service, but I don't know that it means they're going to get top producer service many times. Okay, and let's see. Let's pick one last one. Yeah, that's a classic one. This is good. So, listing agent, we have 20 offers, all cash, waiving inspections, and me represent buyers, right? Partially because sometimes you get property that's a tear down, and investors look at it that way, and you have one buyer who wants to buy it, and in their mind, it's a great deal, but they understand the costs involved or understand they're never going to be able to finance it, and so it is difficult sometimes to be on the other end of the table, not knowing all the information, whether it's true. If they priced it right, here's what I'll tell you about this property. I've been looking at it. There's a price at which it would have 20 offers, all cash waiving inspection, $10. And there's a price that it wouldn't, I don't know, $1 million or more. And so you need to know where the price is in order to assess the situation. It feels like they're lying to you sometimes, but you have to know the value of the property. So, okay, we have to, I don't think we've really laughed much to this. Let's find something that's funny. Oh, this is classic. Oh, this is perfect. When you have an open house Monday at noon, bad time of open house, you're all excited, you sit down, you're sitting at the desk, you walk around looking for all the buyers are. Yeah. Yeah, the only thing you missed in this picture was the very beginning, when you first start and you're excited, when you hold the open house, and then the reality kind of sets in that very few people come through. That is a real experience. I've experienced that at my younger career. I don't do open houses anymore. I have team members who do, but when I did, that was definitely a real experience. So, okay, we'll end with that one. Hey, look, I appreciate you joining me today. If you have a real estate meme you want to share, feel free to pass it on. You can post it in Real Estate Humor, or you can send it to me directly and I'll put it on the show. What was your favorite joke of the day today that we showed? Let me know. I'm Epo Gross Probate. As always, make today your best day ever. Thanks so much.